I'm Ben Wooster with Continental Baptist Missions, serving with the Robinsons and Kruegers here at Bethel Baptist Church in Camp Douglas, Wisconsin. Today with me is Pastor Ron Davidson. Pastor, what are some things or situations that led to your church deciding to install a lift here?
Well, we have our main fellowship areas downstairs, and because of that, we have an antiquated chairlift that need to be replaced, and the lift was the best option for us. It met our needs, and it just works. So it would need something to help our elderly get downstairs, and that works out well.
Can you give us some details as to the process that you went through for raising the funds needed for this project?
Well, when we started decided we were going to do the project, we started to raise funds. It came along kind of slow because, to be perfectly honest, this was my first building project, and I've never had to go through it and do it. And so we kind of were slowly walking around and talking to different people, but everything was very discombobulated. But then we got in touch with Dallas, and then Dallas got in touch with Mike, and we went through the process to get on board with CBM. And I believe about 2 years ago, Mike came and spoke to our church and kind of talked about the building project and kind of started walking us through as a church and as a leadership the process, and that kind of helped rejuvenate our funds and our giving, and people got excited about it. And within about a year to year and a half after Mike came and we started working with CBM, we had the project paid in full. So it really helped when we got involved with CBM.
Pastor, can you, in a few spiritual terms, describe some of the builders' families?
Well, I think patient has to be one, because it's not easy living in a motorhome and traveling from place to place and not having really any solid roots. But also, patience with our project. I don't think there's a 90-degree angle anywhere in our church, and so there's been multiple times where they've had to stop and change and rethink things. And I would also really humble. They've come in with a desire to be a part of our church and to really just to join with our church and all that we do, and being active and involved and being any way to help, whether it's visitation or whether it's playing church softball or adding these little pet projects, if you will, onto the main project to be able to just help. It has just been a blessing to patience and humility.
Do you have any favorite memories of the project this far?
Probably when we started. We kind of had a game plan going in, and then really within the first few days, that game plan got blown up. And it was neat watching the process, I guess, as everyone kind of tried to figure out what was our next step, how is this going to work, and it just all came together. And from there it grew and to completion. It was fun. Also, when we were doing the siding on the church and just having not only the builders but a number of our church people working side by side, completing this, and the excitement and all that was really a blessing.
Would you say that there's been any large surprises, or what's the largest surprise that you've had during the project?
I don't know if you can say there was the largest. It'd be the multiple of surprises that I have had. I think it's with any remodeling. You never really know what you're going to deal with until you start to either tear into walls or tear into flooring. And it's been this whole project, I think, from really the first day till now has been one challenge after another, one surprise after another, whether it's the fact that your foundation wall is 1.5 feet thicker than your actual wall itself, and so that throws your dimensions off. Or instead of being 1.5 inches thickness of flooring, or like 2.5 inches, it's just one surprise after the other. It's been challenging. It's been, I guess, we can look back at it and say it was interesting, but we've made it through it, and it's been a good experience.
In light of that, what advice would you give any future churches that are looking for CBM's involvement in their future projects?
As a pastor, my first response would be to do it. It's been a pleasure working with CBM, and from Dallas to Mike to Dennis, who our church has supported for 20 more or so years, to Brian and Ben and their families. It's just been a joyous process. I couldn't imagine a building project going any better. I think our church has been blessed by it. I think we're going to come out of it. Usually pastors say, don't do a building project. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill your ministry. And I think this has done nothing but been a blessing and a help to our church. And it's just been from the moment we met Mike and talked with Dallas, it just has been a pleasant experience. They come alongside you. They help you through the process. They kind of let you know what to expect, what steps we're going to take as the project's going. I mean, they're always keeping you in the loop, asking questions, letting you know what's going on. Their families become a part of your church. We've had Brian's wife has played the piano. I know Peggy has been on visits with some of our church people, and Katie and the kids and our kids have just been playing the whole time. And I know our son's going to miss not having boys around anymore, but it's just been a huge blessing to not only getting the project done, but also being a blessing to our church. So really from our church and myself, I can't say enough thanks to Dallas and Mike and Dennis and Brian and Ben for all that they've done and all they've meant to our church. And if you're looking for someone to come alongside and help you with the building project, I cannot endorse these gentlemen and this organization enough. And it'll be a huge help to both you and your church to partner with CBM in any upcoming building projects you might have.